Today, we are talking about Eurobond. Oh, before I forget, we're about 60 subscribers to get to 5,000 subscribers on this channel, and we couldn't have done this without you. Thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us and helping us grow. To celebrate this milestone, we are doing a giveaway. To enter the giveaway, all you need to do is, of course, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on this video telling us if we should give 5,000 Naira to 10 people or 10,000 Naira to 5 people. Like and share this video on your social media. We will announce the winners when we cross the milestone. Make sure you check back to see if you've won. We can't wait to see your entries and announce the winners. Good luck and thank you again for your support. I believe if you want to understand Eurobond, you have to first understand why it is created in the first place. So let's break this down. You know Nigeria now, the giant of Africa, the most populous black nation? Oh, you thought that was Wakanda. What's wrong with you? So Nigeria has needs. Nigeria needs food, power, clothing, and several other necessities. Now, to afford that, Nigeria needs money. And as we all know, you need to provide value to get money. Luckily for Nigeria, Nigeria is blessed with vibranium. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I mean crude oil. I'm confusing Nigeria with Wakanda. Nigeria has crude oil, lots and lots of it. We are ranked the 14th in the world in the production of crude oil. Now, crude oil is very valuable because it is used to produce petroleum, diesel, kerosene, aviation fuel, and many other energy liquid, if you could call them that. Now, all these products gotten from crude oil are used to create energy. Energy to power cars, to power airplanes, to power trains, and so on and so forth. Crude oil is a scarce commodity on earth, so countries that have crude oil are known to be very rich. We're talking about Saudi Arabia, the US, Qatar, Canada, and so on and so forth. So going back to our first point, Nigeria needs money to run the country. We take our crude oil and sell it to nations that do not have crude oil. And these countries do not have Naira. So they have to find a currency that is generally acceptable, something that Nigeria can collect and use. And this is where I introduce you to the USD, the US dollar. The USD is currently the most popular currency on earth. So you understand why Nigeria would be happy to collect USD as payment for the crude oil we export. So since the discovery of crude oil in Nigeria, we have been exchanging our crude oil for USD. That's very simple. I know you understand that. Now, for every product or service that Nigeria exports out there, we get USD as payment in return. So if Nigeria is exporting corn or groundnut, we'll be paid in USD. If Nigeria is exporting rice or kola nut or cocoa, they will pay us in USD. All these guys do not have access to the Naira, so we cannot force them to pay us in Naira. Which is fine. Nigeria is very excited to collect their USD. Now, Nigeria has needs and wants, things to make the country run smoothly. For example, a lot of Nigerians want vehicles. Now, we make vehicles in Nigeria. We have an outstanding indigenous company that produces vehicles here in Nigeria. But people have taste, and some citizens have appetite for German vehicles, some have appetite for American vehicles, others have appetite for Japanese vehicles. Now, these vehicles are produced outside of the country. So, in order for us to get our hands on those vehicles, we have to import them, which is quite straightforward. Now, these guys and ladies in Germany, the US, and Japan are not interested in our Naira. Their currencies are USD and Euro. If you want those vehicles, you have to buy them with the USD. Now, that is just a teeny tiny speck of it all. So yes, Nigeria produces crude oil, but we cannot use it in that form. The oil needs to be refined into petrol, kerosene, aviation fuel, or diesel. Now, we have refineries in Nigeria, but we really do not use them per se. So, we export our crude oil and we import refined petroleum, which means as we make money from the sales of crude oil, we spend it by importing refined petroleum. So for example, we made $10 from the exportation of crude oil. We would now spend like $6 for importing refined petroleum. You get it? So that is something that immediately eats into our USD. But that is not all. For every importation into the country, we need USD to conclude these transactions. So you can see that although we are earning USD by exporting, we are also spending it by importing. Now there is another way at which we spend the USD we own, which is by paying back our debt. The loans we took in the past are coming back to bite us now. So countries we owe like China and banks like the African Development Bank, we repay them in USD because these are external parties. They don't need our Naira. They need us to pay back our debt, our loan, in USD. So that consumes the USD that we make from crude oil and other exports. So we need to pay them all back their loans in USD. Now I know what you will say is that, why do we actually take loans from these guys? Why don't we just stop taking loans from these guys and avoid paying them back in USD? And I understand where you're coming from, but here's the thing. Let's say the federal government wants to build bridges across Nigeria to help its citizens with transportation, movement of goods and services across the nation, which helps our economy. They need to spend money to build these bridges, right? Now, we're in a situation whereby we are paying back loans to different parties. Yes, we generate money from crude oil, but as you are aware, we've been spending it on different things. And the money left now becomes too tight to utilize. We have salaries to pay government workers, we have the military to fund, and so on and so forth. So, the government needs to build bridges, need to fix roads, they need to build train stations, they need to buy trains, and so on and so forth. Now, they can simply come to the citizen and explain to everybody that, look, we don't have money. So, let's hold on all these projects. You manage with what we have now, and maybe in 10 to 15 years' time, when we are done paying most of these loans and we now have enough funds to build this project, we will do it. They can do that, which will be total chaos and calamity. Or they can look for alternative ways to do this project. Now, I've seen a lot of people complain that the government keep giving Chinese agencies road projects, train station projects, construction projects. Let me explain what is going on there. Once they put a bid out for a project, different agencies apply to do that project. Now, obviously, we have indigenous projects like Nigerian companies come to say, oh yeah, we can help you build those bridges, we can fix the roads, this is the cost, this is the equipment we need, this is what we need to sort that road. This is our invoice, pay us and we start the project. Now, also, international agencies will come and apply to say, yes, this is what we've done the analysis, and this is how much we'll spend on this project. Now, China, for example, would come and say, yes, this project will cost 10 billion, but you don't have to pay us now. We would go ahead and use our funds to do this project. We'll build a train station, we'll import the trains for you, we'll do everything for you. You don't have to pay anything. The federal government, you don't have to pay now. We understand you don't have enough cash. So you can use the little money you have now to fund other projects to pay back your loan. We won't collect the 10 billion from you right away. We'll spread that 10 billion into 10 places so that you pay 1 billion every year and you fully pay us in 10 years. That is better than paying everything now. We're paying everything in 2 years. So you can see the advantage you have in the proposal by offering this option. So that is just one of the ways these loans are created. The US or South Africa would say, hey, here are weapons, AK-47, fighter jets, helicopters, and the rest. Don't worry, if you don't have the cash now, you don't have to pay us now. Just convert it to a debt. You pay us $1 billion every year as interest payment for the next 8 to 10 years till the money is complete. And that is how we start to create USD debt, foreign debt. Now you could argue that the government is not utilizing the USD we have well, and these are not excuses. But I just want you to see how easily it is to create foreign debt. Now, everything we've discussed so far is linked to the Eurobond, is linked to the foreign exchange and the black market rate in the country. Don't worry, that should not confuse you. If you check the exchange rate of the dollar to Naira in Nigeria now, officially is 446 Naira or thereabout. So 446 Naira to $1. And you'll be like, oh yeah, there's a time it used to be less than that. But it should not be news to you that the black market rate is over 700 Naira. Now let me just explain what is going on here. This will only take seconds. This is like a lazy layman's way of explaining it. Have you ever wondered why the banks will happily collect your USD? If you go to deposit now, they will happily collect it. But if you are doing the opposite, if you ask them for USD, they would start telling you stories and you most likely will not get it. they will start by saying that, oh, we only give you USD if you are paying for this and that. For example, you are paying for tuition. Now, if you are looking to study outside Nigeria, your tuition will mostly be in USD. The banks will say, oh, if it's tuition, we'll be happy to give you USD. But if you're trying to import an iPhone or you're trying to use our USD to do your business, no, we don't have available. Or you just be on the queue. And you're a businessman. You can't just stay on the queue waiting for USD when the price of that product might change at any moment. You want to close the deal ASAP. So what do? You go to the black market. The black market is an option. And recently, we've also noticed that with tuition payment, where people would apply for USD to pay for their fees, and it will take a while. And they'll be on the queue waiting. They have the Naira in their account, but the bank seems to take a while to actually pay that fee for them using the USD. And several people have claimed that they had to go to the black market to source for USD to pay for that tuition. Let me just explain what is going on. When you ask the bank for USD in exchange for your Naira, they have to get their USD from somewhere. Now, if Nigeria was exporting so many things and we are not having so many USD expense, there will be enough USD to run the country. But in a case like this where we don't have enough USD, there would now be a high demand for USD from students, businesses, and so on and so forth. Now, because the banks, the CBN, the government cannot provide this USD because we don't have enough, people have to go to the black market. Now, the black market is very simple. They can choose to give you USD for 446 Naira per dollar. Same rate like the CBN. They can choose to do that. But they will get nothing by doing that. These guys are running a business and they need to make profit. Now you'll be like, okay, fine. You understand that they're running a business. But from 400 to 700, that gap is so much. Why don't they just add 100 Naira extra? So the black market should be selling at 550 while the official rate is at 450. They can choose to do that. But why should they do that? Think about it. Students want USD from the black market guys. So there's a demand on their USD. And their USD is limited. They don't have all the USD in the world. They have a limited amount. Students want some. Businesses also need USD. So these phone sellers at Banex, at the Computer Village, in all these plazas, in the mall, all of them need to import these phones from China, Taiwan, the US, wherever the phone is being manufactured. They need to import from there. These phones are sold in USD. So they also need USD. So they are disturbing the black market guy saying that, give me USD, I want $1 million in USD or $500,000 in USD. Now the students are coming to say, yes, we also need USD. If you don't pay this, we'll be expelled. They are also putting pressure on these black market guys. And so on and so forth. There's so much people, politicians want USD. Religious leaders want USD also. So there's so much pressure within the country to have access to USD. Now, because the demand is so high, the black market guys just turn this to an auction in such a way that, because there's so much demand today, they will move it to 747 Naira. If they notice that the demand has reduced tomorrow, they look at it and be like, okay, fine, we can collect your Naira and give you our USD for 600 Naira or 690 Naira. If schools are resuming and it's time to pay fees and there's so much pressure again, they can increase it to 800 Naira. The USD becomes scarce, and when it's scarce, it becomes very expensive. And you can tell a country's dependence on the USD by the rate of the black market. So right now that the black market is almost 100% of the official rate, you can see that Nigeria is highly dependent on the USD, and this is why we have this exchange rate issue. In a case where we're exporting so much and we now increase our USD reserve, banks will now have access to USD, which would take off all those limits they put on our cards. Students can get their tuition easily. Businesses can now go back to applying for USD from the banks. Then there will be less pressure on the black market guys, and the black market exchange rate will be closer to the official rate. The only way the black market rate can be closer to the official rate is if the country has enough access to USD. So if we export enough, either in crude oil or other agricultural products to get USD, and we expense little so that we still have surplus USD after most of these transactions, the banks will have access to it, citizens will have access to it, there will be less pressure on the black market guys, and the black market rate can move closer to the official rate. So Nigeria is in a situation where we need USD. The USD from the crude oil is not enough. There's so much demand on that, and to get an alternative source of USD would take quite a while. So one way to quickly get USD is by borrowing. Now this is different from the borrowing we've mentioned so far. This is Nigeria coming out to say, okay, Nigerians living abroad, Nigerians all over the world, any other citizen, anybody, whether you're Chinese, you're American, you're British, anybody that has USD, please borrow us USD. Nigeria will go out and say that, like, we need USD. We need $4 billion because we need to run our country. the crude oil amount is not enough. Give us this $4 billion. All of you contribute so that we get up to that amount. And don't worry, we reward you. So how do Nigeria reward these people? Nigeria will be like, okay, fine. Give us this $4.5 million as a loan. You give it to us, we'll pay you back in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. We'll pay you back in bits. But don't worry, every year we give you 6 to 9% of the amount you give to us. So if you give us $100,000, every year we'll give you $9,000 as interest. And at the end of the 10 years or at the end of the loan, we'll give you back your $100,000. But remember, you got $9,000 every year. That's 9%. From year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9. That's $90,000. And you still get your $100,000. So with $100,000 in 10 years, you've made $90,000. Depending on the interest and the duration, you can make way more than that. So that is the incentive Nigeria will give anyone who loans them USD. Now, this is what is called a Eurobond. A Eurobond is when Nigeria goes out to borrow USD from anybody and everybody. Now, don't confuse this from the federal government savings bond. That is Nigeria borrowing money from the public, but that is in Naira. In the case of a Eurobond, Nigeria is asking for USD as the money you should borrow them. So it is simple as depositing USD in your domiciliary account and they will deduct it from that. A Eurobond is when Nigeria borrows USD from the public. You get that right? It's simply when Nigeria takes a loan in USD. So here's a sample of Nigeria's Eurobond. This Eurobond is worth $4.5 billion. They are asking the public for this in USD to cover some expenses. I believe the long story was necessary so I don't just throw jargons and definitions and just walk away. I believe you would appreciate what you are investing in if you truly understand what your money is being used for. Now, a Eurobond, just like most bonds, is a low-risk, safe investment. But there are some times where there would be a default. For example, Ghana is defaulting on the payment on its Eurobond. They are temporarily withholding the payment for now because the economy in Ghana is in a weird situation. If it's to be comparing jollof rice now, they'll open their mouth. So is there a risk of default? Yes. The government can default on payment of Eurobond. But look at it this way. How often do you hear of this? It only happens in extreme situations. And with all these economic issues, Nigeria has not gotten to that position yet. Thanks to our endless supply of crude oil. One of the benefits of investing in Eurobond is that you are exposed to the USD. Unlike your Naira investments where you'll be fighting inflation, with Eurobond, you are fighting a different battle. You are not fighting with these local champions. Now, loyal subscribers will be shouting, Peter, why have you not told us this for so long? Calm down. Just calm down. To get into a Eurobond, you need to pay a minimum of $200,000. Do you have $200,000? You. No, don't look back. Don't point at Barrister or some other subscribers. You have $200,000. So don't blame me. But I'm kidding. There are other ways to get involved with Eurobond. You can go through a mutual fund or you can get a Eurobond fund. This is a situation where a big boy, a big broker or a bank buys the Eurobond and resell it to the rest of us that want to only buy $100 worth or $500 worth or $1,000 worth. They break it down for us. So there are several Eurobond funds on Cowrywise, for example. You should also call your broker. Your broker should have a Eurobond fund in their portfolio. Now, your returns can be between 3 to 15% annually, depending on the mixture in that fund. If you have Nigerian stocks that gives you a return of 30% and above, you might want to balance your portfolio with a bit of Eurobond too. So I believe this video is already too long and we'll be stopping here for today. If you have any questions, obviously go to the comment section and let me know. If you don't have any question and you just want to enter the giveaway, go and answer our question, 5k for 10 people or 10k for 5 people. As usual, if you like, smash the like button. Remember to subscribe. Cheers.